If you've seen any of my other videos, shorts, or ones of the entire workout, especially this year, you'll see that I do a lot of bands, mostly in between sets of everything and sometimes for recovery. So let's talk about how bands can enhance your training by talking about how it's enhanced mine. Anyone can research the benefits of something and gather some information based on other people's results, but I'm a firm believer in you never really know until you find out for yourself. I take this approach to training as well as nutrition, since there's a lot of misinformation about many things on the internet. And I'm going to talk about my training before I added bands and the effects I've noticed after 7 months of consistent band work in training and recovery. The best effect and difference that I've noticed from using bands constantly in the workouts are that the moves I used to feel elbow pain on a lot, like pull-ups, chin-ups, picks, and bear hug carries with the sandbag, moves that are heavy on the elbows, have been and continue to be pain-free. I theorize part of the elbow pain was from not being adapted to handling loads like that in those positions, and having weak tendons and ligaments and joints as well. I can handle a lot of heavy volume, free of nagging pain on moves like pull-ups and bear hug carries. I also think that hitting other areas like the shoulders and scapula with the bands act as a preventative to future pain and aggravation from the heavy demands of training and volume. I believe it builds a ton of durability in whatever area is being trained. The durability to handle load and volume frequently as well as the ability to bounce back when used in recovery. Due to the nature of everything being heavily front-loaded while lifting and carrying sandbags, having a kettlebell fly in different directions and doing pull-ups, that can put a lot of stress on the elbows and possibly cause elbow pain to flare up. And that's what I experienced when I first started shouldering and bear hug carrying sandbags from before going heavy to really getting heavy. I figured it was also from being in awkward positions at work for years on top of that. I haven't really dealt with a major injury in the rehab to come back from that, so I can't speak on anything about how to approach that. Before and during the entire year 2024, when I started going heavy with a sandbag, I never used much bands in my training. I started using them consistently at the beginning of this year in 2025, and 7 months later, I noticed a world of difference from how my body feels compared to the previous year. So about 7 months ago at the beginning of the year, I had the idea of playing with banded isometric tension, doing holds in a curl, push down, and upright row positions, just to see if it has any muscle building effects and increases in work capacity. My arms and rear delts are some of my underdeveloped areas, and bands were the way I was going to address it. So since then, I've had pull aparts, curls, push downs, and face pulls in between every set. The idea of adding them separately wasn't going to be something that was sustainable for me. It's definitely a way to get a lot of reps in because depending on how many exercises in the workout, it can add up to 10 to 15 sets. Say I do banded curls in between a 10-set swing and push, then I move on to 5 to 6 sets of something after that. I'll switch to banded pull-aparts in between to finish the workout. I never take band work to crazy reps. I always stay sub-maximal because my intentions with it are to strengthen the joints, tendons, and ligaments. I can't really say that bands build muscle, though. The only way to find out, I guess, is to experiment with them as the main stimulus of a training cycle, maybe. But I'm not doing that. I believe the effect on the muscles is geared more towards endurance than hypertrophy, but just because the same resistance is being applied every time. Any kind of muscle I've built at this point, I can say, has been from the heavy stimulus work of sandbags and calisthenics in my weighted vest. I can also say that bands do not wear the body down because it seems like the sets and reps can go on forever, to infinity and beyond, I suppose. As for recovery, I don't really see a need for going crazy with sets on these on rest days, as I kind of either do them in a little session here and there or grease the groove throughout the day with them most of the time. They don't seem to have an effect on causing fatigue buildup by doing them too much. I feel like they help the body regenerate more than break it down like a weighted exercise would. It's definitely a great addition to any kind of recovery and maintenance work behind the scenes of heavy, demanding training. So those are the effects I've seen from doing bands consistently and frequently between sets during workouts and recovery. I definitely do feel more durable in the joints, the tendons, and ligaments training at high volumes with a heavy sandbag and weighted calisthenics versus training heavy and not using bands at all. I think they've been a slight edge to help progress and recover faster as well. I 10 out of 10 recommend using these religiously during workouts, as nagging pain that I've had has disappeared since I've used them like this. Well, that's my spiel and what I've learned so far about bands from getting up and doing a ton of them every day. If you have anything to add, any questions, leave it in the comments. Thanks for being here, and I'll see y'all in the next video.